Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Quill Quickcard, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. No, you are not mistaken, I am back on the main menu. I decided, in the end, that I am going to go for the Reen route. And I literally, in another window here, have a flowchart showing the various choices and options you can take in this game in order to get there. Because apparently, the Reen route is actually one of the most complicated ones to actually get to. And believe it or not, has the most choices out of every route in this game. So it figures that I would naturally be drawn to the most complicated of all possible ways to progress through this game. Luckily, though, at the end of the day, it is only text. So, whoops. I'm going to work toward the Reen route. We will be skipping over anything that isn't new along the way. It really seems like I basically just have to carefully maneuver to not have any real interactions with anybody. So, we go to Y. Otherwise, that gives me points with Shizune. Then when we're asked about anything to ask, we ask about deafness, which is neutral. Otherwise, we'd get points with Hanako, Lily, or Shizune. So we skip all that. We go to attack, defend, and I choose defend. So, really, I just have to be very sort of boring, isolated, and uninteresting in order to get to the Reen route, it looks like. It's really kind of weird. But then, that's exactly how visual novels like this work. Ultimately, getting to, desirable endings, which, if I had adult content on, would mean something relatively different than it does right now. Ultimately, it really just comes down to a flowchart. Okay, so for this next one, I want to introduce myself. And then when Kenji asks if she was cute, I say... Hold on. Yikes. Okay, I introduce myself. Then when we get to Kenji, we say, no, she wasn't cute. Basically, okay, how do I do this? No, mind your step. Okay. Hanako, Lily, greater one, yes. Okay. I see how this goes. I say she wasn't cute. Skip the dialogue. Not exactly cute, no. There are a lot of cute girls here, a strange disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the dark secrets. Yeah, we know. We know about your terrible theories. Okay, so the next choice this leads to, I think, is going to just be exercise, yes or maybe. Yeah, okay. So my next choice should be A question of exercise, yes or maybe. And I want to say maybe. Okay. Now, how do I do this? So sorry, I'm trying to carefully navigate this flowchart here. So going backwards from where Rein's Act 2 starts, I need the Hanako Lily affinity to be less than 1. Um, but in order to get there, I need the Shizune route to be less than that too. So Shizune and Lily's value should both be equal to 0 right now. So I guess I just need to go to maybe. Maybe, no. I mean, he gives me a nasty sort of look when I say that, making me try to take back the word. I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to the school. I promise to try, though. You're not being very convincing there, Hisao. Tip number 1. Medical professionals are not amused if you take their advice lightly. What's up with him? As if a day or two would make that much of a difference. I didn't do anything at the hospital either. Yeah, okay, sorry. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. Okay, so we meet. So we've got Reen. Do. Seemed a bit stupid to me, really. But I suppose this way I can tell the nurse honestly that I'm doing something about my health. Not that I was ever much of a runner to begin with. Can't hurt to try, I guess. Okay, so we go to the track. So I should have... Training equals... Frankly, I don't remember if there's any particular form for running, but I can't help but feel like I'm doing it wrong somehow. I feel awkward in comparison to Emmy, who never seems to break stride. I don't think I want to do this anymore. I'm only not feeling up to more than a couple of laps today, and slow to a walk pretty quickly. Yeah, that's completely appropriate for your first day of exercise. Emmy keeps running and doesn't seem to notice I've stopped until she passes me a second time. I've seen that. Apart from feeling more tired than before, I don't think I accomplished anything today. I'm so out of shape it's embarrassing. The whole thing might have been a waste of time. I'll find some other way. I head back to the dorms to wash and change into my uniform, trying to resist the urge to take a really long and hot shower. I'm tired from all the running, so I just want to unwind. But I don't want to break my slowly building routine of getting to school before the morning rush. After taking a long shower anyway, I dry myself off. Okay, so here we have naked Kenji. I'm actually going to just show what I'm actually dealing with here. Here is a brief look at the insanity of this flowchart. Like, it's actually absurd. What I need to do is, yeah, I have to figure out some way of navigating this thing. Don't worry, I'm sure I can figure it out. So now we are at the choice between Shizune and Lily. Now, the problem I'm getting here is that I don't quite see how to navigate this in a way that leads to Reen's path. So I guess I will the training was no. I feel like I need to go the Lily path. I think. I don't know. This is the only point where I can't quite follow the flowchart at. Literally every other point on this flowchart I can follow perfectly, except getting to the Reen path, because naturally. I'm feeling tired, so I set my alarm clock to wake me up as late as I can afford, while still making it to the first class. The nurse's voice is almost nagging in the back of my head about morning jogs. I make a resolution to make up for it by going for a walk after school tomorrow. Emmy won't care either way, I bet. Okay, so we skip that. So, presumptively, I wake up and take a hot shower. Back in my room, the first thing I see is a familiar row of medication bottles lined up on top of my dresser, and it makes me depressed as usual. It's annoying. I thought I was okay. I thought I had made my peace with this thing, gotten over it. But what I really did, I allowed myself to forget that I have a problem. Being here really reminds me of that reality, and trying to fight against it just hurts. Reflecting on it is only going to do so much. I've done this before, for months. It seems like it's time to get over it. If I allow myself to forget that my life is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. Okay. If I allow myself to forget that my life is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. Okay. My life may be different from others, but it is a life in progress. That is how I'll rationalize it. I down the usual handful of pills, trying to push away the sudden dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepare to head out to class early, as usual. As I step into the hallway, I notice Kenji coming around the hallway corner, stealthily making his way over to his own room with a large bag. As he sneaks past me soundlessly like a ninja hiding in plain sight, I call out to him. Hey. He jumps at the sound of my voice. Oh, hey man, didn't notice you there. I'm really tired. I think it's more like he didn't see me, but that's not the issue. Where have you been this early? Shopping? Nah, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to find out what the next exam is, since he tells you in advance if you want. So then, what's in the bag? I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside. I need supplies to continue the fight against the vast feminist conspiracy. Okay. I thought you didn't go outside. I wear a hat now. I decide not to point out that he is not wearing a hat. An awkward silence settles between us, and then Kenji breaks it by pushing his door open slowly, releasing a creaking sound into the air that only makes the moment seem more awkward. He sets down the bag inside his room and then closes the door. I'm surprised you went out of your way to find out a test date. Trying to take advantage of an opportunity to study is pretty diligent. I never study. Oh. I just want to know when the next test day was. I'm still gonna take it, duh. I need to know what day it is I need to know what day I can't afford to skip class. He usually sends out updates on that crap by phone, so I had to step out and check up on it. And why do you have to go out when you can get it on your phone? I don't carry a phone. What do you mean you don't carry a phone? You mean you just leave it at home? Nah, I don't use phones. I don't have a phone. I have no phone. Why don't you use a phone? How can you not have a phone? No phone at all? No phone? I just don't like phones. Actually, I'm kind of scared of them. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of repressed trauma. But basically, when I hear phone, I get nervous. It's my darkest secret. I have two theories on it. Either I have some fear of receiving some undefined, ominous, life-altering doom call, or I was beaten with a phone in the past. Beaten so badly I can't remember it. Beaten in the head? Well, where else could I get beaten with a phone that would make me unable to remember it? The ass? Unexpectedly logical. I feel very depressed now. Sensing this conversation is more or less over, Kenji opens his door again and prepares to head inside. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep, dude. Have a good one. Class is going to start in like 20 minutes. I already did something today. Too tired to go to school. Hey, you need some lip balm? I accidentally brought two because I thought... wrong button. I accidentally bought two because I thought the store had started selling individual AA batteries. Thanks, but no thanks. Whatever, man. He swiftly enters his lair, finally letting me go to the class. Okay. Yep, we go to class. Isao. I'm going to make you a one-time only extra special lunch offer. Okay, so this is different. Amy's homemade lunch boxes and the privilege of enjoying them in private with two bombshell beauties. Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, a remarkable feat since it's full of people. Amy strikes a very confident-looking pose. Still thirsty. As though as an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing her very modest chest and making the V for victory sign with her hand. That's delicious. To what do I owe this honor of being invited? You stood there looking really lost and sad, so I thought you could use some company. That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable. So how about it? You're probably really lonely, and I would eat that awful cafeteria. And would eat that awful cafeteria food all alone otherwise. I'm kidding. Sure, I'll have your lunch offer, with pleasure. Let's go to the roof. The roof? Why the roof? Because that's where we eat lunch. And if I don't get up there, she'll probably wander off. And then I just know she'll go hungry because she never packs a lunch for herself. Who will? Come with me. Without answering my question or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. Why do you have an extra lunch? Amy smiles guiltily. Actually, it's yesterday's lunch. I slipped in a run at lunch and forgot to eat. Huh. Stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated. Yep, we've seen all this. We have Reen. So where the hell am I on this flowchart now? Guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, I make a few loud stretches to try and stave off the tiredness that's accumulated over the week. After passing through and rounding the corner, though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the town below. The color of her hair tapping of her cane are unmistakable. Okay. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does. Hisao? Yep, that's me. You seem to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered is a pleasant surprise. Good evening. What brings you here? Once again, she gives a small polite bow, and once again I reply in kind before realizing that I needn't do so. Just going into town. You? My. What a coincidence. Doing the same thing, eh? I usually go shopping on Fridays. She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost. That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me. Not lost, but worried. The two do seem to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught up in a book. She lets out a small sigh of relief. Thank you. She has a habit of doing that. Avid reader? Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit. Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remain silent as we quietly continue to walk down the quiet road. Tack, 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 tack. With the road bereft of cars and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it. I know your pain, dude. Tired? Yeah, been running ragged these past few days. That's an understatement to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this. Well, hopefully everything should settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in a spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things. For a moment I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess. Yumaku's kind of different, though. I mean, the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it, though, in time. She gives a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with Class 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I mind. It's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case. Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends. That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking on down the road, she seems to be somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speaks up about something else. So, where in town were you going? That's actually a pretty good question. I'd come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but with sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, that doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions. Again. I was just going to get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way. Well now, this is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself. Looks like I'll be in your care again, then. Thanks. Together, we walk to the store, my pace carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter. Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako would help me, but seeing as she's not here. It takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she'd had this idea since I said I was coming here. Sure, it'd be my pleasure. I grabbed 2 well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handing one to Lily. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane, and sliding it through the basket's handles before picking it back up in her right hand. Wait, she doesn't use her cane. Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside me and pinches the cuff of my uniform in her slender fingers. Is this all right? Ah, sure. I have no reason not to accept. I can think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it is out of necessity. We navigate our way through the store with not one of the occasional passing customers seeming to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Imaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the local residents. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily and find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for and put our items into their respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Right, all that's left is the bread, and that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. It's not long before we've both paid for our food and are out the door. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends it to full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both our bags. For a moment, I try to make clouds with my breath, but the summer's heat doesn't seem to cooperate. Eventually, she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her bag and leaving me to my two. You tired as well? The festival preparations have been complete chaos. Shizune breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either. Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized. Better now than later, right? I suppose. I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow. That's for certain. I guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walk out into the quiet street, talking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinctive figure making its way toward us, silhouetted by the street lamps. For a second, I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say she, gets closer, I recognize her quickly. Reen? What are you doing out here so late? Reen? Lily perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene for her. It's Reen. Tezuka, I think was her last name, from our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated-looking expression. Something like a forced fusion of a composed smile and a painful cringe. Ah, I understand. I guess Lily knows Reen, too. Reen turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. Not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't acknowledge it if she does. She looks like a zombie, or a statue of a zombie. But slowly, some symptoms of understanding seem to lighten her dark eyes. This is something she must react to. Reen blinks once. Very thoroughly. Hello. There is an awkward pause, everyone waiting for someone else to say something. What are you doing here this late? I was wondering about that myself, too. Just now. Some people asked that just before. I assume they were wondering the same. I didn't know. They didn't know either. I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much it. A murder mystery without a murder. They were going that way. She turns, facing to her right in order to demonstrate the direction the other people went to, as if that was important, then rotates back like a mechanical puppet in one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being the quiet type, Reen really does use a lot of words to say things that don't need a lot to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I say nothing. Neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think that both of us are, in fact, just scared that any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't faze Reen at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be that kind of person, always so relaxed. As if a bull elephant-grade sedatives were flowing in her veins in the place of blood. Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having anything of the sort, though. No, I don't think it's that. The other passers-by were probably just worried, though. You do look really lost, the way you're standing in the middle of the street. Oh, I see. Maybe I should have taken some other kind of pose in that case. I ponder for a while whether I should chase this angle further or give up for the sake of my own sanity. I decide on the latter. It seems that most of the time, it's better not to read too deeply into what Reen is battling about. Talking with Reen is like playing chess with a supercomputer who does seemingly completely random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that, except with human interaction. And even if I win, I feels like losing. Damn, it's just like Kenji said, even when I win, I lose. Is this the true power of the girls of Yamaku? I push the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kenji's anti-female propaganda getting to me during a moment of weakness. Yeah, maybe taking another pose might have worked. So anyway, you have no idea what you're doing here? She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, its consequences, or the answer she's about to give. I do have some idea. I can't really tell what kind of an idea. That sounds like progress, at least. Lily sounds as if she spotted an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. I can't say I share her optimism. Yes, there is some. Definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I always have reasons. The ensuing silence kills Lily's hopes all too visibly. That didn't last long. Reen's, as far as I can tell, unbased assurances aside, what should be done? We could just leave her alone to her own devices, whatever those are, but it's late and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks if Reen is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will, unless she manages to remember what she was doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her mind when she decided to embark on this adventure, the chances seem to be on par with winning the lottery. Several times in a row. Lily is oddly quiet too. I'd appreciate some support from the sidelines here, especially if she's more familiar with Reen than I am. But it can't be helped. It seems her familiarity with Reen is exactly why she's staying subdued. So, I assume you are going somewhere, not coming back to the school. Any idea where? Her eyes widen in shock as she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act rehearsed for situations like this. Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique. No. What? Why would you think that? You knew what I was doing. It was just an educated guess. We walked to the same street in the other direction just before to get to the store. If you were going to school, we would have met you on the way. Oh. She looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Reen appears quick to jump to completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. I make a mental note to stop up on soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked if I was a mind reader. Do I really give off that impression? Reen shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You know, maybe you should come with us back to the school. Lily interjects just as I am about to further debunk my alleged mind-reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper-thin smile on her face badly disguising that fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusion as I did. For everyone's sake, I decide to let the mind-reading topic drop, as it's utterly insane anyway. Yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point staying here. Reen considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods. Okay. We start towards the school again, having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Reen walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her rhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, step, step. Apart from that and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. A quiet quite apart from the relaxing one into town at that. So, how's the mural going? We are going to get bad luck. Never talk about works in progress. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Bad luck. Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top of is surprisingly steep going uphill. We slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there. I can see the gates already. More than that, though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder. Interpreting it as a gesture that she wants to ask something, I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I resist the urge to say, aside from our traveling companion, but only just. For a moment, she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyway. Is everything all right? All right? How do you mean? The fact that I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. It's just you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a jab on me. Lily noticed it all too quickly. Okay. So, I have made progress, possibly toward Reen, possibly toward Lily, possibly toward Hanako. The important thing is, I know exactly where I'm at in the flowchart right now, and I know exactly what I need to do to continue down this path. I just don't know where that path leads. And honestly, I think that's kind of the fun part. And I will see you all on the next one.